Hey guys, I figured I'd stop in now that we're coming up on the end of September, and the month of October is Depression Awareness Month. I know you've seen a lot of our family's content, and a lot of it is fun and outgoing. We do like to enjoy ourselves, as do most people, but there's, some mental illness stuff that has affected our family that we don't really share, or haven't shared up until now. So I figured with Depression Awareness Month coming up, this was our chance to get part of our story out there. So I'll start by saying that most of you guys know that my husband is a recovering addict. He's been sober for many years now from drugs, which is great. I'm so proud of him. Once he stopped using drugs, he did continue to drink. It wasn't a crazy alarming amount. It was nothing that sent a red flag in my mind when we first got together. Some days, he'd come home and have a few drinks a few days a week. Some days he'd go days at a time with no drinks at all, and then other periods of time his drinking would be heavier than what I would consider to be normal for most people. He recently decided to quit drinking. He decided that he wanted to be a better dad, a better partner, a better friend, but mostly he just wanted to be better for himself, and the alcohol was the last thing to go. He has not had a drink now since May, and once he stopped drinking, he went to the doctor with complaints of feeling down and depressed, low motivation, lack of energy, fatigue, you name it, he had it. Very classic signs of depression. So he went to the doctor and she prescribed him Zoloft, which is a pretty common medication. It's an SSRI, which is a class of antidepressant medications, and Zoloft is one of the most commonly prescribed antidepressants in the world. And you may not know it, but about 40 million Americans struggle with depression. It may be hard to pick these people out that are struggling with depression, because when people have mental illnesses like depression, they usually find ways to cope with them and handle them and get through life living with their depression. For my husband, he got through his depression with drinking, and the worse that his depression got, the more he drank. When he felt good, he barely drank. It was kind of a cycle, but once we realized it, like I said, we went to the doctor, we got some medication, and everything was good. So they started him off on a really low dose. He felt fine, and after a few weeks they increased the dose. After that dose increase, there were some changes, and they weren't very good. My husband became very easily agitated. He was very hyper. He had an excessive amount of energy. He was becoming fixated on things, and it was clear that something, really wasn't right, but it was kind of hard to tell, is this a medication reaction? Is this a normal side effect? Is this stress related, work related? Didn't really know until things went kind of sideways. It was a pretty big ordeal. He became suicidal and had to get evaluated to make sure that he was safe for himself, safe for the family, whatnot. So moral of the story here for this first short video, is that he was depressed. They gave him a medication. He ended up having a bad reaction from it, and what it uncovered between not drinking and this antidepressant medication, it uncovered some things that we weren't really prepared to deal with, but we dealt with them anyways. If you want to hear more about our story and how this ends, tune in within the next day or two and I'll fill you in on the rest. All right, thanks guys.